I can't tell you how many people I've heard say, "I have no natural rhythm." You see, there seems to be this preconception that if you weren't born with this just innate sense of the music, that you can't learn it later in life, or not without a lot of intense training. But the truth is, rhythm is as innate to us as our own heartbeat. Timing, on the other hand, has to be learned. And by the end of this month, you'll know exactly what you need to know to learn it. Hi guys, my name is Ian Crew. I'm an instructor at the Joy of Dance Center in Toronto, Ontario, and the creator of SocialBallroom.Dance, where you can learn your dance at your place on your schedule. Now, full disclosure before I get started, I have no formal musical training, so I learned to move to the music in very layman terms, which hopefully makes sense for you too. I know how frustrating it can be when you're listening to somebody go on about beats and bars and phrases of music and have no idea what that person's talking about. So I'd like to start by looking at the difference between rhythm and timing, and then we'll explore how to anticipate the beat in music so that we can move to it. So a rhythm is our natural sense of the music, whether it's sharp or soft, whether it's fast or slow, what the energy level of it is, and how we can move to the music that we hear. Now this is something, like I said, that nearly all of us possess. Now, timing is a little more specific. It has to do with moving a specific part of our body, usually our feet, to the beat of the music. So, how do we find the beat? Well, first, it's helpful as a dancer to separate music into two different sections. You have your melody, which is the more flowy aspects of the music. Usually includes the vocals, sometimes it'll be piano, strings. It's the part of the music that we remember the most. And then it overlies the other side, which is the percussions, and that's the drums. Often you might have sort of like a deeper, like a cello, or like just deeper strings. That provides this rhythmic pulse or emphasis in the music. And that is the guide by which we know to move our feet to the music. So if we listen to this foxtrot, you'll be able to hear the melody, which is the saxophone followed by a piano, over the deeper string sound and the hi-hat. That's the cymbal portion of a drum ensemble. Let's pay a listen. Percussion. Melody, and so on. So it's very important that we don't get confused by the two. The melody is not something that we're trying to move our feet to right now, so you can get easily confused if you focus on the wrong instrument. Now, the emphasis in the song is every second beat. Usually we have a louder or more deep emphasis on one beat, and it's alternating with a weaker emphasis on the next beat. So a good example would be in a lot of like dancey clubs, you'll hear something which sounds like a That sound is the drum, that's usually the stronger pulse, and that which is the hi-hat of like sort of the top part of a drum ensemble, that's the softer, the weaker pulse. And this is important because in most dance styles, the emphasis is on the first beat, or the downbeat, which means that we are going to take our first step to that pulse. But in something like a foxtrot or a swing, it actually happens on the second beat, or the upbeat. And that means that we actually will step in between the pulses. Let me show you what I mean with one more playthrough of that that foxtrot song. So, that's our main beat. Now our timing, this being a foxtrot, is slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick. So you can see that most of the time we are stepping in between the pulses that we talked about. Also, speaking of slows and quicks, that's a very common way that instructors use to teach the timing to their students. Now, you might already know that a slow is 2 beats in the music and a quick is only 1 beat, but that doesn't mean that's the only way to count the music. For example, many people count East Coast swing as back step, triple step, triple step, or their cha-cha as rock, recover, chasse, rock, recover, chasse. This way you can tie what your feet are doing to the beat of the music. All right, there's one more thing that I want to cover about this. You'll often hear people talk about things like 4/4 timing versus 3/4 timing. We don't need to know a lot about the different timings of a piece of music, at least not as dancers. Suffice to say that most of what you learn is going to be 4/4 timing. We can check whether the song is 4/4 or 3/4 by listening to the number of beats in a specific section of music. That is the length of time by which you hear a melody or percussion before that melody or percussion changes or repeats. So let me give you an example by one more time playing the foxtrot song we talked about, this time looking more closely at or listening more closely to the saxophone in the first section, followed by the piano in the second section. Let's give it a listen. So saxophone and piano. Okay, so starting over now, but this time we're going to count the number of beats in each section. So for the saxophone we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now piano 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. So because 8 is a multiple of 4, we know that this is most likely 4/4 timing, and you'd be right. Now the other common one that you'll hear is 3/4 timing, and this is used quite a lot in waltzes, like slow waltz or Viennese waltz. So let us play a waltz song that will help you understand that a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. In this case, it's the percussion, not the melody, which tells us that this is 3/4 timing, because the percussion has a repeating pattern that is only 3 beats long. You hear a lower downbeat followed by 2 higher upbeats. So playing that one more time, we can hear 1, 2, 3, repeat, 2, 3, and so on. Now I know this is a lot to take in right now, but if I do or accomplish one thing this month, it is to help you recognize that timing, like any skill, can be learned. It's not something that you have to be born with. Now that I've given you some useful timing tips, here's something that you can do to give back. Let me know if there's a type of music, or what's the type of music that you find the most difficult to follow yourself. Let us know in the comments below. And if you had any questions or comments, you can message me on my Facebook fan page, Ballroom Dancers Anonymous, or you can email me at ian@SocialBallroom.Dance. And if you like what you see and you want to see more of this, you can either subscribe to my YouTube page or you can visit me on my website. There's a ton of great material there to help you on your own dancing journey. Next week, my wife and I are going to be away in St. Lucia. So sadly, that means there won't be a new vlog next week, but instead I will be putting up some of the more popular posts that I've written in the past related to timing. So read up on that, hopefully that helps you. So I will see you again in 2 weeks, and until then, happy dancing.